Feed up, everyone saying they're ready, Milk Dealer ready, Fiasco ready, and we're counting down from 9 right now, so we're going to be moving into this game, a PvZ. This has definitely been an interesting and fun matchup.
It has, and we'll see if Fiasco is watching some of those special videos that we had during the North American finals. Maybe decided to copy one of King's build and doing some silly air toss play, but it remains to be seen as to what we'll see out of it. I think last week we were seeing some heavy Void Ray and Phoenix along with Stalkers as well.
There's definitely a lot of cool strategies to be had, but this is a bigger map too, so
Sure.
maybe it's harder for Zerg to scout it out, I think, as well as Protoss, because there's, the opening is really hard for Protoss if you don't sense what's coming right away. As far as being ready for a 6 or 8 or 10 pool and going crazy with economy. But as we are into this match, the upper left-hand corner, wearing the pink trunks from Team ESC from Europe, it is Milk Dealer.
And in the bottom right-hand corner, representing Team Gravity in the Protoss race, it is Fiasco.
That reminds me of the funny story from last week where Korean Air about to go up against Henderlisk, and believe the story was his mom was trying to get him to mow the grass, so he was AFK for a bit, and the team was trying to chase him down, I think, and so he must have not just mown the grass this week, because that was definitely an advantage for him last week, I think.
Well, I think that in between matches he did get out there and was able to get that lawn mowed so his neighbors aren't going to be complaining too much. Don't have to get the homeowner association involved or anything like that, which is always good. You don't ever want to have that problem if you can avoid it.
No, but we are going to be starting on opposite corners of Frost here, as it is not forced cross, so it could be directly across from each other on the top or bottom or whatnot. So this is going to be the farthest possible distance. How does that play in?
Well, I think that you're going to see less early rushes for that reason, because it's going to be difficult to get out there and, find your opponent and then get your units in there before they've built up a suitable defense to be able to hold, and they'll be able to prevent any major economic damage that would give you the type of advantage that you'd want to gain from that type of movement. So I think that we're going to be seeing more mid-game aggression and less early game.
Milk Dealer doing a neat little bit there, as he did swing his drone around the edge here to see what was there, and then hang out towards the choke here to see if any pros are coming in before he puts his hatch down, just checking for them proxies. But
And that's it's important to do those types of things, as you can easily lose to that if you're not prepared.
or even just a cannon rush.
Yeah, honestly.
But it looks like Fiasco is going to be going for Nexus first, following it up with the Forge, 2 pylons at his expansion. Going to be defensing this up quite well, but I mean, the disadvantage of both players here, Milk Dealer does have the ability to get his overlords out on the map, but he's going to know here pretty shortly that his opponent is not in either of the places he sent his overlords to, but even with knowing that, he still doesn't know what his opponent's doing.
Not yet, so he's going to have to get something over there if he wants to find out anytime soon. It looks like he is swinging that overlord to the south to try and figure out if he's there. And 2 Lings are crossing the map to also get a gander at that front.
Double gas down for Fiasco, as he will be having his gateway coming down as well as a cannon. Got that hole plugged, so I mean, there are 2 Lings coming across that are not going to be able to get in. They will see what's here. They will see the timing of the gateway, so that's going to be his best indication of what's up.
So third base now going down for Milk Dealer, playing the heavy economic route, and is trying to kill that probe with queens, but it just barely does escape.
So now he's going to get the money scout of that third base, and I don't blame him for going for this 3 hatch. It's not the crazy 3 hatch, the 3 hatch before pool, but
Right.
Being so far away, it's just really hard to put a whole lot of aggression on that doesn't leave you wide open. So probably,
And he's got eyes on the front of Fiasco's base. He knows that the gateway had just finished. The cybernetics core isn't done yet. He can see that the gateway's not really producing much. Is making a zealot now, but there's not really any threat of heavy aggression coming anytime soon.
yeah, Overlord is just going to be popping in. It's not going to get to see a whole lot. I mean, there is a Zealot coming out, which is going to replug that hole, but I mean, we've seen Protoss in a few instances in maps like this that are very large actually take 3 base as well.
Mm-hmm.
And to be
But it
quite
looks,
honest, from what he saw, he saw that hatch going down. I'm surprised that Fiasco wasn't opting to do that unless he's just got a build planned in his head and he's just going to do it no matter what.
he does have a starport and a robo going down at the moment, so it looks like he's going to be doing some type of aggression here.
Starport and a robo. I think that's one of the few times we've seen both of those going down at nearly the same time. Stargate a little bit sooner, but still.
Yep, he's going to want to... what do you think is going to come out of that? Immortal?
I'm going to have to say Phoenix out of the... Oh, Void Ray out of the Stargate, so taking a play out of one of King's book, and out of that, with Void Rays, gosh, I just don't know. Observer? But that doesn't make... It's either Warp Prism? I mean, the only thing that really makes sense is Warp Prism.
I suppose.
Because there's not really anything cloaked at this stage of the game that's too scary for Zerg. And maybe that was just a missed decision because he's not using it yet. He has selected a couple times. Okay, now there comes out an Immortal. So this is going to be interesting. A Void Ray Immortal push.
Yeah, I think that he's going to probably get a few Stalkers, a few more Immortals, and we've seen a similar play from him before, which has proven to be fairly strong. But Milk Dealer is sensing that there's going to be some air toss play. He's getting a Spore Crawler down in his third base, and he's getting that lair fairly early.
Yeah, I mean, he's got to get the Hydralisk seeing that Void Ray. Get that Hydralisk and, potentially start teching towards Hive to get the Vipers as a third Void Ray is going to be coming out. So, I mean, this is going to be pretty darn scary. We've obviously seen this in the past be a pretty off... I mean, has he seen this? Okay, he has not seen the Stargate or the Robo, so...
He did get his Overlord killed by the Void Ray, so he knows that there is a Stargate, if nothing else.
Well, yeah, he knows the Stargate's there, but he hasn't seen it specifically. And he hasn't seen the Robo, so he does not know that these Immortals are there.
No, but he does know that he's got an opportunity to push as he's moving some Zerglings across the map, although now it looks like he's pulling it back.
And here comes that Void Ray. I mean, one Void Ray against a Spore and a Queen just isn't going to get anything done. I think... Oh, he is going to take the opportunity to snipe out another Overlord, though, but, I mean, Milk Dealer's well prepared, got lots of supply still.
I'm not sure why Milk Dealer ran all these Lings back to surround his Queen. Maybe he was anticipating a little bit more aggression coming from that Void Ray, but another one is moving across the map and is going to be going over to that natural base, and there is no Spore Crawler there, so it looks like it's going to be able to get a little bit more done.
Yeah, to be honest, I'm not understanding what Fiasco's doing with these Void Rays. I feel like he's not using his investment wisely. Now as these Lings are moving across the map, he's got 3 to 4 Void Rays and he's just kind of doing little pokes here and there and really isn't able to actually kill anything. I mean, the strong bit of getting 3 to 4 Void Rays is just going in all at once with a Mothership Core, which he doesn't have, and
it
killing
looks like
a base.
Hydralisks are on the map now too, so he's going to be moving across the map. He is getting the speed for those Hydralisks before the range, so he wants to be able to be aggressive with them immediately.
And another Overlord is going to go down. A couple of these Void Rays are going to meet up here in the middle. And there's a Warp Prism out as well. So that's going to be a harassment factor. But these Hydras are just chasing down these Void Rays, and they have taken a significant bit of hull damage. But look at this.
Fiasco has 8 sentries with his army that is rallying up towards the front of his base, getting ready for this Zerg aggression.
I'm curious to see how this turns out because, as you know, Void Rays... not so good against Hydras, and Immortals also not so good against Hydras, and we haven't seen a single Roach. So Immortals... Oh, but he's going to separate half the army. Milk Dealer didn't notice it, I don't think, because they were just derping against those force fields.
Yeah, they're just still running.
So now, I would say, Fiasco's in a great position.
Yeah, he absolutely is. There is a Roach Warren on the map, but he is not producing anything out of it. More Hydralisks and Zerglings in production. 2 pylons going down at the front here, and suddenly Fiasco is looking very strong. More force fields going down, separating a lot of this army and killing off a lot of these Hydralisks. The Zerglings have pretty much all been evaporated at this point.
There is still a lot of Hydralisks here, and those sentries are pretty low on energy. He's warping in more Stalkers, but he's going to have to get a lot of DPS out here.
He does have that Guardian Shield down, which does help a lot in getting those force fields down. Not getting a whole lot done with those, but he is able to pick these off slowly but surely. And it's not looking good for Milk Dealer here.
Yeah, so now I'm starting to understand a little more. I think those NGG. I think those pokes around with those individual Void Rays were just to keep Milk Dealer busy, not to actually do damage. Sure. We've seen in the past where you chrono the heck out of those few Void Rays early and go kill a base. That's the goal of those. But it seems like the goal of this was different, which was interesting because it did work, and it pulled back that big Ling push that Milk Dealer had out there, which, so after I wasn't sure what he was doing while he was doing it, but after the fact, it's really interesting play.
Yeah, I'm not sure what the decision process was with having those Lings stay around base. I mean, obviously, he was expecting a bit more aggression than what he saw at that phase of the game, was probably anticipating that those Void Rays would be followed up with more Stalkers, Immortals, or, any number of ground force assistance to those Void Rays, but that didn't happen, and so the Zerglings just kind of sat around the Queen and didn't really do much, as opposed to potentially running into his opponent's base and getting some economic damage done, which at that point in the game, it could have actually done some damage. So a little bit of indecision, a little bit of misreading what was actually going on, and I think that ended up being hugely in Fiasco's favor and probably what he was trying to have happen the whole time.
Yeah, it was just interesting as a Protoss player. I was saying like, oh my gosh, he's going to send these Void Rays out in several different positions and end up losing him, and then he's going to be so far behind. But he was able to get them out and did do good things with them. So that was a great play. But we're going to take a